Are you prepared to discover 5 new underground biomes with their own lore, mobs and challenges? Along the way, you can even make new friends. Okay guys, welcome to today's showcase of Abyssal Caves. This was just released, so I'm very excited to show you everything about this mod. Disclaimer: this mod sometimes doesn't work with shaders, so today's showcase will be without them. Getting started. To start within this brand new mod, one needs to find an underground cabin, which holds the spelunkery table and cave tablets. In case you have trouble finding one, scavenge an abandoned mineshaft, as they can contain cabin maps, or buy one from a cartographer villager. Another item that can be found here is the Cave Compendium, a book containing information about the mod. This needs to be enhanced by using the spelunkery table, otherwise it will only contain the basic information. So let us talk about that. Spelunkery table. Firstly, the player needs a cave tablet and paper. Put them in their assigned slots. On the left side of your screen, a word will appear that you need to find in the encrypted message. One has 5 attempts to do this. Incorrect words will become grayed out. After a guess has been made, one can drag the lens over it to reveal the word. After 5 attempts, the tablet is destroyed. In case you don't want to destroy the tablet, one can use a translation cipher. The wiki provides one that I'm displaying right now on the screen. The player needs to find the correct word 3 times in a row. Don't worry, for each attempt you have 5 tries. If successful, a cave codex will be created, having 2 uses. There's a specific information panel for each biome added by this mod. It will only unlock 1 chapter at a time. Do this with the right click. Combined with paper, it creates a cave biome map. The map will need a little bit to generate, as these biomes are very rare. After it did, one will not only have all above biomes indicated, but also a player icon. Now let's talk about every biome. Abyssal Chasm. Found exclusively under ocean biomes, the Abyssal Chasm is filled with water and soaring towers of muck, covered in ores, hydrothermal vents emitting black smoke, and tube worm colonies. On the seafloor, one may spot skeletal remains of giant predators or whales. Its wall is covered with the stone-like abyss marine and muck. The ladder block slows down almost every entity walking on it. When it's broken, muck can drop sea glass shards crafted into depth glass. It provides better visibility when placed near water. On any solid block, mussel will grow in colonies, growing faster on logs. These can be cooked. Upon broken, there's a chance that these will drop pearls, which can be crafted into the abyssal altar. More about it later. Mussels can be replanted. Now let's talk about the mobs within this cave. Lanternfish are petite creatures moving closer to the surface during nighttime. As they have light-emitting spots on its body, they can be a hint for an abyssal chasm close by. They can be bucketed and cooked. They can also be brewed into deep-side potions. Found at the sea floor, sea pigs are a gelatinous being sifting through muck to look for edibles. They can be bucketed or eaten, however, they are poisonous. If the player feeds it clay balls or mud, the sea pigs can spit out decent amount of muck or clay, or even return bone meal, sea glass shards, pearls, or marine snow. Marine snow can rejuvenate corals or grow more wet sponges. The tripod fish is often found resting at the seafloor. This entity can be bucketed or cooked. By combining these 3 entities, one can create deep sea sushi rolls. Seeking out any glowing entity, the Hullbreaker is an enormous, dangerous predator, killing its prey with its massive teeth. Before it wants to attack, the Hullbreaker will circle its prey, while its body begins to rapidly flash. To avoid this entity, the player should remove any glowing effect or entity and stop emitting light. In case the player can defeat this monster, it may drop what it consumed before, and also enigmatic engines. More about this later. These large glowing worms are called gossamer worms, being the favorite prey of Hullbreakers. Upon death, they drop bioluminescence. It can be crafted into water-resistant torches, potions of glowing, or into floaters, which quickly returns you to the surface. These need ping-pong punches to be crafted. One of the most mysterious creatures is the Deep One species, existing in 3 different variants and living together in a symbiotic relationship. The Deep One has a humanoid body, large teeth, and a translucent head hiding their eyes. These will stalk any intruders and attempt to flee if spotted or chased. When it's cornered, it will toss an ink bomb and disappear. If hurt, all Deep Ones may turn hostile permanently. To improve the relationship, place a pearl on an abyssal altar near them. If their opinion increases greatly, Deep Ones will no longer flee and will even assist in combat, using their teeth and their sharp claws to tear prey apart. The Deep Ones can grant the player a wide variety of items, e.g. sponges, sea glass shards, and even glazing pearls by using an abyssal altar, in exchange of pearls. The last item will change color depending on the opinion by the Deep Ones towards the player. It can also be combined with marine snow to create pearls. Another exchange are ink bombs or glow ink bombs, inflicting blindness when thrown. The latter will also apply the glowing effect, an effective way how to lure in a hull breaker. The stronger variant of the Deep One is called the Deep One Knight, being larger and having shells as their armor. Usually these carry tridents or Orthro lances, wielding it as a weapon. These share the same opinion as Deep Ones and can be traded with. In my testing, it seemed that these are the most willing to trade, even if they are hostile towards you. Knights will grant items revolving around combat, including the Orthro lance that can boost the player when held down, dealing damage not only with the boost, but even the bubbles left behind. It is the same strength as an iron sword. Another item they can give are tridents, prismarine shards, or the magic conch. This last item can summon Deep Ones to aid in battle. However, they will only stay for a short period of time. The last kind of this species is the mage. They are only distantly related to the Deep Ones, even having magical water powers. With the heart of the sea within their head, they can use water bolts to damage enemies from far away, summon a barrage of waves to attack multiple targets, voyage out of the water by using bubbles, or trap land dwellers in a giant bubble, drowning them. These entities will trade magical items such as Nautilus shells, bottles of chanting, or sea staffs. These can summon rapidly homing water missiles with a right click. Mechanical beings can be found near abysmal ruins called Mine Guardians. Being chained to the sea floor, they will open their eye from time to time, scanning for targets. If they find one, they will detach from the chain and slowly creep to their prey to only explode near them. If slain before exploding, they may drop depth charges that can be thrown, exploding in a small area. Works even underwater. Throughout this biome, one may find ruins, sometimes intact, sometimes destroyed. Occasionally they can contain metal barrels with some loot. From time to time, one may spot even drains within these ruins. Players can craft them themselves with depth charges, buckets and a redstone dust. If there's liquid above and empty space below, the drain will remove all fluid when activated with redstone. Any drowned spawning in this biome may wear parts of the diving armor. These can also be found within chests in abysmal ruins. The helmet grants 40 seconds of water breathing, the chestplate extra toughness, while the leggings grant extra swim speed. The boots allow the wearer to walk quicker on muck. Abysmal ruins can also hide a broken submarine. These can be fixed by using copper ingots. Oxidation is removed with an axe. With space, one ascends, with left control descends. With G, one can enable floodlights. The player may also create a new submarine. Firstly, one needs the enigmatic engine that drops from hull breakers. Surround this block with 20 copper blocks and 6 depth glass. Forlorn Hallows. Filled with darkness, the Forlorn Hallows is layered with thick shadows. The walls are covered in guano stone made of guano and coprolith, containing mostly coal ore. Near guano stone, one may find more redstone than usual. This peculiar guano is found in patches throughout the biome, left there by mammals. This can be combined with bone meal for a strong fertilizer. Occasionally, players may see the pairing coprolith, where from time to time eyes peek out. The only flora found here are the remains of thornwood trees. The branches can be combined with fertilizers to craft thornwood saplings. If the player is brave enough to place down light sources, this will attract unwanted attention. So let us talk about which kind of mobs one may encounter here. The glue moths are passive entities, being the most common prey in this biome. As these insects are attracted to light, they will fly near the light source. This results in attracting the predators that would normally stay in the darkness. Upon death, they may drop moth dust. This can be thrown. If an entity is hit by it, it will be moth-scented, meaning any Forlorn Hallows entities will start to attack it. Combined with fertilizers, mothballs are created that will keep glue moths away from light sources. They can be stacked up to 5 times in one block. Resembling moles with mysterious coats, underzealots have poor vision, but that doesn't mean they are no threat. These entities will use their sharp claws to slash the prey or bury themselves into the ground to reappear somewhere else. Hunting in groups, combat will be even more difficult. They despise light and will break any sources of it as soon as possible. However, the player should fear them because of a different reason. In case they can catch a glue moth, underzealots will start to perform a ritual, grouping together and chanting, creating a watcher. Upon death, they drop dark tatters or dissolute daggers, being the strength of wooden swords. Tatters can be crafted into black wool. The dagger may seem weak, however after each attack, a dagger will be floating above the target, dealing delayed additional damage. This glue moth, mutated with dark magic, is called Watcher, and will start to stalk the player over a large distance. Occasionally, adventurers will be made aware of its presence, as it will possess them for a short period of time, preventing the player to move. When the Watcher is close enough, it will slash the player with its sharp claws before transforming into its flying form. During this fight, the entity will often possess the player, making the fight quite hard. Upon death, it drops dark tatters and occult gems, combined with thornwood branches and moth dust to create a totem of possession. It can be bound to any entity by hitting it with the totem. By holding down the totem, the player can tell the entity to move to the place the player is looking at. If the entity collides with any other creature, it will attack it. If the gem is only combined with thornwood branches, one creates the Beholder. Bind another occult gem to this block to be able to see through the eye of the Beholder. This doesn't work in different dimensions. These gigantic bats are called Vespers, either hanging from the ceiling or hunting the favorite prey glue moths. These hostiles will attack the player by swooping in and out of the darkness. However, they can be stunned with a shield. Upon death, they drop Vesper wings. Combined with thornwood branches and mushrooms, a stew is created, granting night vision. Due to their poor eyesight, underzealots will sometimes grab Vespers, performing another ritual. This has catastrophic results, as a Forsaken is summoned. These corrupt entities are completely twisted and will be hostile to anything that's not from the Forlorn Hallows. Hunting as many glue moths as possible, these creatures have a wide range of attacks. Their upper arms can smash the ground, slash their prey, or lift it to finally devour it in its mouth. The Forsaken may also use sonic blasts. The long-range variant has incredible reach, whereas the short one damages all hostiles nearby. These blasts do more damage towards sound-utilizing monsters, such as the Warden. Being on low health, its appearance changes, turning pitch dark with only its reddish eyes. Within this state, it will rapidly heal if not in direct light. Upon death, it drops pure darkness. Combined with moth dust and dark tatters, one creates Shadow Silk. These can be crafted into cloak and hood of darkness. When both are worn, the shadow meter is displayed above the hotbar. Fill it by spending time in darkness. Once this meter is full, players can enter Shadow Mode, granting fast flight for 10 seconds, activated with G. This only works in darkness. Another item crafted out of it is the Dread Bow. These bows load slower than normal bows, but when fired, multiple arrows will fall above the head of the target. Normal arrows are transformed into shadow ones, dealing multiple attack damage, but also appear in greater number. By combining 4 pure darkness items with an apple, the player creates the darkened apple. This increases the duration of shadow mode. This fossorial rodent called Corrodent can be found tunneling its way through the Forlorn Hallows, emerging when they detect nearby prey. They can be hard to defeat, as they will hide within almost every block. The player may scare them away with light, shocking them. This allows players to easily slay them. Upon death, they drop coarse dirt or corrodent teeth. It can be brewed into a haste potion. Combined with sticks and dark tatters, players may craft the burrowing arrows. These will destroy up to 5 blocks or pierce targets. Primordial Cave. These limestone caves are filled with prehistoric flora and fauna, being well lit thanks to Abyssal, granting strong light, similar to daytime, allowing trees to grow in wide variety. Among them are puin trees, ancient jungle trees, curly ferns, cycads and fly traps. Puin trees create pine nuts, which can be eaten. The ancient jungle tree produces 3 stars. The plenty limestone can be crafted into spears, stackable weak, low-ranged weapons. They can be thrown. If smelted into smooth limestone, players can paint cave paintings on them with charcoal. These can often be spotted within ruins throughout this biome, worth checking them out as they contain loot such as new pottery shards and variants of dinosaur, footprint, guardian and hero. Abyssal is commonly surrounded by amber. Whenever a player breaks amber, one can find an amber curiosity, crafted into amber monoliths. These can repopulate the nearby area with animals over the course of a few days. The type of animal depends on nearby animals and the natural spawn rate. These monoliths also spawn naturally throughout this biome. Swimming in many lakes of the Primordial Caves, the Trilocaris are small prehistoric arthropods being a prey for predators in this biome. They may survive in and out of the water and will defend themselves. They can be bucketed and will drop Trilocaris tails upon death. The Subpteranodon is a flying reptile equipped with a large mouth. It only eats aquatic beings. Their stony nests can be found on the walls of Primordial Caves. These entities can be lured and bred with cord, producing eggs. They can also be found in their nests. A Subpteranodon can be tamed with Trilocaris tails. Tamed, they can be made to sit, wander or follow with sneak clicking. The best part is the player can ride these entities. They can fly only upwards for a short period of time while carrying the adventurer with their legs, indicated by the icon above your hotbar. These large herbivorous dinosaurs are called Grottoceraptops. They will ignore anything if not being attacked. If they are, Grottoceraptops will defend themselves with their horns, flinging their attackers into the air or impaling them with their spiky tail. These entities are the only source of fiddleheads, appearing after they consumed a curly fern. Combined with 3 stars and pine nuts, players create serene salads. They remove the stunt effect, more about it later. They can be bred with 3 stars, laying a single egg afterwards. Upon slaying, they drop dinosaur chops and tough hide. The chop can be cooked to dinosaur nuggets. The tough hide can be combined with bone blocks to create primordial pants and a tunic. Hunting groups, the Velociraptor will try to take down any prey, small or large. Some of the group will leap onto the target, while others scratch the prey. Every pack is led by an elder indicated by orange markings and larger statue. If the elder is killed in combat, the pack usually disperse the battle. These intelligent beings can also open doors and chests, stealing any meat items. If a dinosaur nugget is stolen and consumed by a Velociraptor, they will become relaxed. During this state, players may approach it and feed it serene salads to tame it. They can be made to sit, wander, or follow. If it loses a lot of health in combat, it will enter stealth mode, rapidly regenerating and then re-enter combat. They can be bred with dinosaur nuggets and will lay eggs afterwards. Nearby hatched Velociraptor babies will be tamed as well. Massive neutral omnivorous entities are the so-called Relicaris, commonly found near puin trees. It is immensely strong as the dinosaur has dagger-like claws. If they are nibbling on trees, they are scavenging the water to find any Tricolaris. If fed primordial soup, it will energize, knocking out any nearby trees. They can be bred with 3 stars, producing 1 egg. Upon death, they drop dinosaur chops and some heavy bones. The bones are used to create the primordial soup with a fly trap and cooked dinosaur chops. It grants haste. Hunting Grotoceratops and Relicaris, the Tremosaurus is the largest predator in these caves. Its presence is indicated by the shaking of the earth and water rippling in response. When hunting, this creature will unleash its roar, shaking every nearby entity. It will use its jaws for lethal bites or to pick up smaller prey. Upon death, it drops dinosaur chops and heavy bones, which can be converted into bone meal. Combining a fly trap, cooked dinosaur chops, and a heavy bone, players create a seething stew granting rage. It increases attack damage depending on how much health is left. If given to other creatures, they attack anything nearby. If combined with tough hide and bone blocks, one crafts the Primordial Helmet. When wearing this helmet, and also the Primordial Tunic and pants, health and saturation increases for every raw meat consumed. Even though this hostile being seems untamable, brave adventurers can try. Firstly, one needs to craft a primitive club out of a heavy bone and psychite and strike the Tremosaurus with it to stun it. This sluggish weapon is slow, but has a chance to stun any creature for 15 seconds, preventing them to move and attack. After being stunned, feed it serene salads. This will wake it up, being very angry, but after a few attempts, it is tamed and can be made to follow, wander or sit. They can also be ridden. Being rather sluggish, these creatures will attack anything their owner is aiming at. Occasionally, it will roar, forcing entities to flee. This ability can be manually triggered after the Tremosaurus bar is filled up and activated with G. Once tamed, they can be bred, with dinosaur chops laying a single egg. Nearby hatched, the baby will be tamed as well. Toxic Caves. This massive underground wasteland, called Toxic Caves, is extremely hostile towards players. Most of the walls consist out of red rock, bearing uranium ore from time to time. Instead of water, acid is covering pits within the biome, corroding armor, and then the entity itself upon coming in contact with it. Anything metallic will become rusty when in contact with acid. Within this biome, one may spot numerous ruins with atomic progress containing loot. They are built of cider blocks crafted from concrete. The item can be thrown, breaking weak blocks. However, some items such as waste drums or uranium rods will inflict radiation damage if exposed for a longer time. If not taken care of, the first stage will prevent natural healing, while the later stages will deal damage, with the end being death. Uranium can be crafted into shards, blocks, or the previously mentioned uranium rod, a new light source. Sulfur stacks are quite common here and can grow in size if an acidic red rock is dripping on it. When broken, players may acquire sulfur dust. Combined with sugar, it creates spelunky, allowing healing even if the player is irradiated. Combined with pork chop and bone meal, one creates slam, granting strength while also healing while irradiated. Spewing out gas and bubbling, geothermal vents rise within this environment. The green gas can be bottled for radon gas, creating radon lamps in any color or a siren lamp. Gigantic radioactive cockroaches, gamma roaches, scuttle around the toxic caves. Even though they are neutral, these entities will attack anything that's irradiated. When injured, they release radioactive gas. Although not strong, they may flee the battle to find a stronger mob, kidnap and transport it to the initial battle area and drop it. Upon death, they drop toxic paste. They can either be crafted into red rocks, unrefined waste, or polymer plates. Unrefined waste can be smelted into uranium nuggets or combined with a metal barrel for waste drums. Polymer plates can craft the hazmat armor, lowering the damage and effects of being irradiated, or into hazmat blocks. This mechanical creeper is called Nucleeper, being slower to charge up their explosions than normal creepers. Whenever this happens, the core starts to close, emitting a warning siren. As soon as it closes, an atomic explosion occurs. Once triggered, the explosion is imminent. Before an explosion, they drop gunpowder and fissile coal. Combined with polymer plates, one creates different items. The remote detonator can be bound to any explosive to, well, remotely detonate it. Another item crafted is the ray gun, which shoots a radioactive blast, irradiating anything it hits. It uses uranium rods as fuel. Lastly, combined with a lot of uranium, one can create the nuclear bomb. This will deal out thousands of damage, destroy all nearby blocks, and inflict irradiated 3 to the nearby area. The lore states this is the origin of the toxic caves. You can defuse the bomb with shears. Hideous fish called red gills are living in the acidic liquids of the toxic caves, occasionally leaping out of the acid. They can be bucketed or cooked. They also survive in water. Due to the toxic waste, some zombies have mutated into one entity, a brainiac. These fast, aggressive entities will whip their target with their abnormal large tongue. Commonly, they can be seen carrying a waste drum on their back. They can either drink from it to heal or spread acid near their targets. If they are near the target, they smash the prey with their arms or snap at them. All attacks have the chance to inflict the irradiated effect. Upon death, they drop Soylent Green, a new food item that can be drunk to heal whenever irradiated. They may also drop charred remnants, crafted into nuclear furnace components and nuclear sirens. The latter item will create a loud sound whenever a nuclear explosion is imminent in the area. The player needs 8 nuclear furnace components in a cube to assemble the nuclear furnace. This multi-block structure can smelt any item, a blast furnace can, but 5 times as fast. It uses uranium rods as fuel. Whenever an item is smelted, it produces a byproduct, unrefined waste. To avoid a lethal explosion of the furnace, one needs to remove this waste in form of waste drums. Destroying these is rather difficult. If they explode, they change the area to an irradiated state. Lastly, the skeletal feline is known as a ray cat. Although looking intimidating, these creatures are passive. Even though they don't need to consume food, as they heal with radioactivity, players can give them rat gills to tame them and can be made to sit, follow or wander. They won't defend their owner, however will keep new clippers away and can absorb the irradiated effect. They can be bred with rat gills. Emerging from ground are the neodymium crystals. These come in 2 different variants, azure and scarlet. Thanks to these crystals, the caves are called magnetic caves. Scarlet crystals attract all metallic objects, such as iron and netherite, whereas azure repels them. Thus, players should explore these caverns with non-metallic equipment. An advantage of metallic boots is they allow the player to walk on any side of a scarlet neodymium, including the underneath. Neodymium can be broken and either crafted back into nodes or into ingots. Azure ingots can craft levitation rails, lifting any minecart into the air. Scarlet ingots can craft seeking arrows, which will curve towards any nearby entity. These can also be crafted into potent magnets, pulling to or away magnetic blocks whenever they receive a redstone signal. They can move up to 27 blocks at once, provided there's space for it, and all blocks are metallic or connected by slime blocks. The range is small by default, however it can be increased with their own ingots or decreased with the opposite ingot. These magnets can be activated by using a magnetic activator, working as a directional redstone block. The magnetic caves are also rich in iron, galena, and a new item, Tesla bulbs. These light sources will zap anything that walks too close to it. They will explode when broken or when hit with a projectile. One of the blocks that this biome consists of is galena. This iron composition has several decorative variants, and the packed version can be smelted for 1 iron nugget. This galena-covered entity is known as a Teleto. These hostile beings will use the iron tool, which hovers above their head, as their prime weapon, moving it back and forth to deal damage. These entities may also fly, slowly strafing when attacked. Upon death, they drop azure or scarlet ingots and telecores. Combined with energized galena, players can craft Tesla bulbs. Once a machine to help extract resources from magnetic caves, the Magnetron is another hostile being home to this biome. They may seem fragile, but as soon as they detect an intruder, they start to build a giant body around itself using nearby blocks. The blocks that are nearby are quite important, as the Magnetron will prefer magnetic blocks, including anvils and sawmills, increasing the damage of this monster. Upon death, the Magnetron will fall apart and the blocks it's made of will disperse. It also drops the Heart of Iron. Combined with azure and scarlet ingots, one creates the resistor shield. With a shift click, you may reverse the polarities. Players can use it as a normal shield, only that the magnetic pulse damages nearby foes. If the Azure side is used, foes will be repelled. If the Scarlet side is used, they will be pulled towards the player. Bound by a chain are two separate parts, the head and a walking winch. This creature is called Boundroid. This entity is most likely to sneak up to its prey and is found commonly clinging to the ceiling of this biome, dragging its head on a chain. If it detects a target, it will try to quickly get above its head and slam down its head. If the winch is shot while on the ceiling, the whole creature will fall, quickly trying to get back to its former position. Upon death, it drops heavy weight. Combined with Azure and Scarlet ingots and chains, it creates the magnetic quarry smasher. More about it later. Even though it may levitate, the Pharaoh slime can only move in straight lines. This slime will also not only split when slain, but will merge with other slimes to gain in strength and size, making it harder to defeat. Upon death, they drop Pharaoh slime balls. It can be brewed into the potion of magnetizing. It allows the consumer to be pushed or pulled by magnetic forces without wearing metallic armor. Combined with iron and gravel, it creates metal swarf, smelted into scrap metal. The slime also allows players to craft the Galena Gauntlet. It has to be held in the offhand, while a magnetic tool is held in the main hand. When used, it will launch the tool 20 blocks forward, damaging any entity it's knocked into or starts to break blocks. The gauntlet can be repaired with telecores. The last entity is the Notor. Even though these strange creatures cannot attack, they are still a nuisance, as they attempt to scan invaders, reporting back to the monsters of this biome. Any monsters that got this report will know where to focus their power on. Upon death, they drop Notor Gizmo. It can be crafted into a magnetic light or two more items, the Holocoder and Hologram Projector. The Holocoder can be bound to any entity. When placed into a projector, the entity will be displayed. If the Holocoder is unbound, it displays the user instead. The magnetic light and the magnetic quarry are the crucial ingredients for the magnetic quarry smasher. Place behind the quarry 4 magnetic lights to form a rectangle. This determines the mining area. After there's lightning between the lights, place your smasher onto the quarry and it will mine out the specified area until no blocks are left. The quarry will spit the blocks out, which can be collected with hoppers and chests. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Tell me which is your favorite biome and yeah, stay safe in game. Ciao.